This week, I'm here with Ms. Huisman, who is our 5th and 6th grade science teacher, and we have a special guest, our principal for the day, Kim Covington, who is a professional at this interview stuff, and so she's going to help with the interviews. But I'll go ahead and ask the first question, and then I'll turn it over to Ms. Covington. So, Ms. Huisman, this is your first year at ASU Prep, but I know you taught before that. Could you talk a little bit about your teaching career to this point?
My teaching career to this point is a little limited. I taught for one semester in the spring. Prior to that, I was in school for the last year and a half, earning my master's in education, SEI endorsement, and teaching certificate.
What were you doing before? This is interesting.
It gets more interesting. I actually worked for the Mayor of Phoenix for 5 years before that.
Wow, what made you decide that this is the career for you?
I had thought about it after college, and I applied for Teach for America, but I said I wanted to stay in Phoenix. This is where I grew up, this is where my family is, this is my community. And they actually said, well, we'd like to send you wherever we want to send you. And for me at the time, I just didn't want to leave my mom. And so I stayed in Arizona, but I attended college out of state. And once I came back, I started working for a councilwoman, and then I had a series of jobs from there. After my 5 years in the mayor's office, my position was actually cut due to the budget cuts about 2.5 years ago. So I decided that it was time to go back to the idea of teaching, and it was time to really take that passion into the classroom.
Good. And so what are some of the things that you're teaching your 5th and 6th grade students this year in science?
Right now, we start off with a lot of learning about the scientific method, learning about how to do science, what sort of things you have to look at and what you have to consider when you're doing science. 5th graders right now are learning about the solar system, and they're going to be virtual travel agents, and parents will get to come in and learn about all the planets and find out which planet they want to visit based on a very persuasive piece of writing and a presentation that they will give orally to the parents. 6th graders have learned about the hydrologic cycle, otherwise known as the water cycle, and we're currently learning about how rivers work. We'll talk a little bit about lakes, oceans, and how water is exchanged throughout the atmosphere and through Earth itself.
Wow, so
That's what we're working
interesting. How did the mayor's office prepare you for these 5th and 6th graders?
Honestly, I look at it like I have 120 little mayors.
I love it.
They all have special needs. They all have they have calendars, they have agendas, they have lists of things to do, and it's my job to help them be prepared as possible for their day when they come to school and when they leave at the end of the day. And that's sort of how I look at my job.
How much have they impressed you so far?
Very much so. They are a bright little bunch of people. And one of the things I do notice is that no one has told them, you need to think now. I'm giving you permission to think. So one of the things I really try to do is give them problem solving and critical thinking skills. They'll ask me, do I do this now? And I'll say, what do you think? And that's my standard answer in the classroom, what do you think? And I want them to really be problem solvers. You know, if you see a problem, what's your solution, and fix it.
Love that. Love that kind of teaching.
That's what I try to do.
Oh, wow. You're a quick study. I love that.
Now, given your background in government, that's why you're a natural to lead our ASU Prep student government. So you are the teacher advisor for the student government here. Could you talk a little bit about some of the things that student government is planning for this year?
Absolutely. I am the advisor for 5 through 8 student government, as well as the 9th grade student government, which will then grow into the high school student government as we add more grades. A couple things that are going on right now is we're selling pumpkin grams. So on Monday, you can have a pumpkin gram delivered to your friend or to your favorite teacher and brighten up their day on Monday. So each pumpkin gram will have a pumpkin and a message and a pencil and a lollipop. So
wow, you find time to do all of that and teach too.
I do extended day twice a week until 5 o'clock at least.
Wow.
So.
And the burning question that every 9th grader asks me all the time is, are we going to have dances at ASU Prep this year?
Yes, our first dance is being planned for December 9th.
They're
How
going to be so
fun.
excited.
They're going to be very excited. So
Oh,
buy
good.
pumpkin grams so you can have a dance.
Oh, so money goes toward that.
Yes.
And last question, so all these things that you're doing, you're very busy with student government and teaching and planning for your science classes. What are some of the things you like to do in your spare time when you have it?
I have an 8-year-old son, and I love spending time with him. Ironic part is I end up doing science at home with him. So we do science experiments. Love spending time with him, going to the science center, but I also really love to scrapbook,
Oh.
and I love photography. So
How fun.
That's what I do in my spare time.
Well, the mayor's office is certainly ASU Prep's gain. We are so glad to have you at ASU Prep. You're doing a fantastic job, and thank you for being my interview subject this week.
Oh, I'm
Thank
so
you, Mr.
impressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to Ms. Covington, our principal for the day, for joining me in my interview.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Excellent.
Great
Thank
to
you.
meet you.
You too.
Perfect.
Give her a raise. No, I'm just kidding.